1, 2. Yeah, it's working. This is my channel, Matty G111 for episode 2. Woo! Conversation with a friend at the moment. I have Yasmin with me, who has just been a university student and now is, what are you doing now? She's actually got accepted as a teacher at a school recently. Yeah. And so this little episode will be discussing basically that. Want to introduce yourself? Want to go for it? Who are you?
I'm Yaz. I'm 23. I'm a Taurus.
Yeah, I said Taurus.
I've got my first job as a secondary teacher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I got that through my last placement, so that was stress-free.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah, good. That's very good. That's good news that you're actually getting recognised at your placements to get an actual job, which is very good. What made you actually choose to become a teacher? What made you decide to go down that pathway of...
Well, when I was a kid, throughout my whole schooling, I really loved school. I love learning new things, and school was... I feel like people that become teachers either really hated school and they want to be really different to all the teachers they had, or school was a great place for them.
Yeah.
For me, it was a positive experience. It was a great place. But when I was in year 10... So throughout primary school, I don't know why, I can't tell you, and I decided, but if anyone ever asks, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
I'd always say a teacher.
Yeah.
And in primary school, I always wanted to be a teacher, primary school teacher. Year 7 to 10, I still thought I wanted to be a primary school teacher, and then in year 10 on work experience, I did my 2 weeks work experience at a primary school, and I hated it. And I ended up drawing a circle around me with chalk on the carpet in class, and so that the students wouldn't cross the line.
Okay.
I couldn't stand them climbing on me, and I'm such a touchy person, with all my friends and my family friends and everything. But I don't know why. I felt really uncomfortable, and I felt like I was acting all day, that I was changing my voice, and I didn't like it at all. So then year 10, 11, 12, I really did not know what I wanted to do anymore.
Okay.
So my first degree was actually a Bachelor of Arts, and I knew I wanted to go to uni. And in my Bachelor of Arts, I did a double major in English and History and a minor in Sociology. And truthfully, I did that because they were my favourite subjects at school.
Yeah.
So I basically went to uni and kept doing school and loved it. And while I was at uni doing that, I got a few jobs at uni where you tutored other students, you helped other students out. I did a few times where I could do a mock lecture or tutoring in a class when they were short on staff. And the big bulk of the work was going into high schools, and I loved it. And I loved coming up with my own content to teach. And I thought, maybe I'd like to be a secondary teacher. So after my BA, I did my Masters of Teaching, and I did it in 18 months. So I fast-tracked it.
And you, when we off this mic, we discussed how you said that you wouldn't want to do that again. It was pretty intense, didn't you say that? Yeah.
Well, So university holidays are very long, and when I was doing my BA, I used to get so bored during my uni breaks, and I thought, no, when I do my Masters, I'm not going to take a break. I'll do... So when we had our holidays, I kept studying, and it was the hardest 18 months of my life. Within 6 months, I was burnt out, this whole year has been... it's been stressful. I've been I've been going to the doctors.
Just insanity.
You get unwell, and then everything just piles up. But,
It made you realise that we do need breaks, and we can't be working non-stop.
Take your breaks. Boredom's better than...
So I want to actually go back to how you were talking about how you actually chose history. What aspects of history do you actually like? What aspects were you interested in history, if there were any, particular ones?
When I was at school, I really didn't much enjoy World War I, World War II history.
Yeah, me either.
But I think that's because you do it from primary school and then in high school, and then again when you get to we have senior college, which is year 11 and 12.
Yeah.
I think I just got so sick of it.
Yeah, I understand that.
But I loved I don't know really what it is about history, but I like it. I always gravitate towards TV shows and movies and novels that are like embedded in history, even if it's fantasy. Like, you know, I've always been interested in it. I guess I like to know the reasons why things happen. I'm not a big risk taker. I think naturally, I'm one of those people that can learn by listening. And I like to learn about things. I like critically thinking about things. And I loved history at uni. Even World War I and II history, I did one of my assignments, remember, on like women in World War II, and I did it completely on I think it was Vogue. I did one on Vogue, and it was all about women's fashion and how it changed from World War I to World War II, and it was such a specified thing, but I loved that. But yeah, I can't really tell you what aspects of history I really like. I'm just very interested in the failure of mankind.
So you basically use it as a tool to maybe improve on yourself. Is that what you're saying in a sense? Like, it sounds like to me that you use it as a tool method to help you with your thinking.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
To help me with my thinking, I think that came in university. Because that's not what history was at school. It was recalling facts and key events. And, you know, I found it very interesting. But I loved at university being able to say, like, how could we stop this in the future? What are the major events that influence certain other events? You know, I love that. And I think I'm naturally that with sociology as well. I love knowing the reason behind things. Like, I always think that life's a cause and effect, and I'm always looking for the cause behind the effect. You know?
So, like, for example, like, if we go with, like, well, like I've been talking to you yesterday, about the gulags and all that sort of stuff, and that's the reason why they occurred was because of a political belief back in the past, and that's why they occurred. So that sort of aspect you're speaking of, I'm
also, I guess the one aspect of history I really love, actually, if I think about it now, is like genealogy and family history. Because I think I read a lot of novels that are embedded in history, I love that they create characters with their own history and like lands that have a history. And you know, I'm mixed heritage, so I like that, the history of that as well. And I think it just comes from really being like, I think when you are someone who's really mixed, it comes from, you feel a little bit maybe out of place, I guess. So learning about the history kind of, I don't know, gives you like some sort of
closure,
belonging to something, or, you know. And I think I just in general found it cool. But that was another thing that I really loved at university as well, like all the family history, like that we did as well. And that really sparked my interest. And we didn't do a lot of that in school, actually, so I probably couldn't even, which is why it didn't come to my mind, which is probably, I didn't even know why I liked history at school, but I think because I was a person who loved watching movies and reading books, like even at school. One of my favourite books was Clan of the Cave Bear.
What's that?
It's about a girl, and she's basically white. This is all back in like caveman days, and there's an earthquake and she gets lost, and she's adopted in by the clan of the Cave Bear, and she's given a totem, and you know, it's all historical fact, but it's a fictional story. I loved that. It was my favorite book, and I read it so many times, and I read the whole series. And I loved that book, and to this day when people are like, what's your favorite book, I'm like, Clan of the Cave Bear.
Okay, I better give it a read.
I loved Pillars of the Earth, which is another fictional book which is embedded in history, and it really explains, a big part of it really is explaining the building of a cathedral.
That's cool.
And the Grand Maester, he builds this cathedral, and it's a love story as well. And,
of course, there has to be one in their story.
But it's such, like, it's a lot of history in that book. So.
That's awesome. I'll tell you what, the one thing I do every time I go to another place is I take photos of cathedrals. Like,
really?
I love them. Like, and I try to find as many opportunities as I can to actually go and actually have a wander in. But some of them won't let you take photos on the inside, so they're pretty rude that way. But I've got a lot of outside photos, and I find it just fascinating how we just construct those things on the basis of a belief or something like that in order to praise something.
Yeah.
Or it's very, very interesting. Yeah, like, I'm going to rant now, but yeah, no, I find cathedrals very cool.
Like when you say that about like when they don't let you take photos.
Yeah.
Like, I love photography as well.
Yeah.
Like, I love being artistic, and I often think about like another aspect of history.
Yeah.
One of my favorite classes was called Myth, Legends, and History.
Hell yeah.
Myth, Legends, and history.
Was it like
called.
the Golden Fleece, all that sort of stuff? And
No, we read all the myths and legends about King Arthur, and we had to kind of figure out what the real story was and how stories and even fictional stories in the past can really reveal certain aspects of culture and society at that time and place. And I found that so interesting, and it really reminds me of they didn't have photographs back in the day, so we have paintings, but we've only got that painter's perspective of that place. And then you look at a sculpture, and you can compare these things and you can get an idea of what it would exactly look like. But there's obvious differences as well. And then in this day and age, taking, like you said, they don't let you take photos. You often wonder when you see photos. I often wonder when I see photos of places, like, how much is it photoshopped and edited? Like, does it really look like that?
Yeah, that's it's kind of gonna go. We could go down a whole rabbit hole of that, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
But let's actually go to we'll go to the teaching stuff. So it's very interesting how all of a sudden, like, from year 10, you felt like as soon as you had that experience, you're like, no way. Well, that was with primary school students, wasn't it?
Yeah, I felt like I had a passion for teaching. I was always told you're a natural teacher, you're a natural, you love helping people. And I thought maybe social work after year 10 then. Because I definitely loved aspects of the teaching. But when it actually came to teaching a class, I found it quite frustrating when students would come in and it would be the boss of the game didn't let me play, and it would be like 15 minutes to get everyone But and now as a teacher in high school, I love that. It's almost like it's a mix of social work and teaching, but I love to teach specific things. I am a person who's what I'm good at, I'm really good at. Like, I've got high grades at uni, and the things I'm not good at, I'm really
because you don't
I'm not interested in, I'm really bad at.
You're not going to put anything into it because you of course you're not interested. You also have pretty different teaching methods compared to a lot of people at schools nowadays, don't you? You have different beliefs and perceptions on it, don't you?
I think so, yeah.
Because like when you describe to me when I have conversations with you about teaching, you seem to have you base the way you teach someone on an individual level, not on the fact of like a group. Like, because it seems like if a particular student has an issue, you'll focus on that student and not actually remove that student from that area and actually like exclude them from the group. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Do you do that? Or like, do you feel like you do that?
Definitely. There are some students so the school I'm at, I would say would be very, like, a majority come from low socioeconomic background. Definitely students with autism, Asperger's, PTSD as a result from like childhood trauma. Like, you're looking at really tough backgrounds. And I've got year 7, 8 and 10s, and in the English class I've got like the lowest English. And then I've got one literature class, which is the highest English. So I've got a good mix there. And my year 7 and 8s I also have for humanities. But their data's showing like year 2, year 1, year 3, year 5 levels of reading and spelling and grammar, punctuation, like very low understanding. And it's a result of learning difficulties, behavioural issues. But I really believe that behaviour is a form of communication when we don't have the words or the tools to communicate, what we think and feel. And I'm really there to... The curriculum, of course, is important, and I put so much importance on education, and I really want the kids to as well. And I tell them, like, at some point you need to take ownership of your life, and you need to... This is your way to do anything that you want, give yourself a good education. Like, you are your biggest asset. Another thing I say to them is, like, don't waste your time. You know, I care too much to let you leave the class having nothing to show.
Yeah.
Because that's a waste of time.
Yeah.
You know, time only comes around once, so don't waste it.
Yeah.
It's very fleeting, and make the best life for yourself because you deserve it. You know,
good.
That's my approach, I guess. And that's honestly how I talk to them and what I say to them. So then we've got the curriculum down pat, why it's important to learn, and, you know. But the other aspect of teaching is making sure, you know, this future generation's got life skills. And they've got the skills. And unfortunately, a lot of the skills maybe some kids have coming to school, other kids haven't developed yet because they haven't got it at home. And we shouldn't remove them and place them in a whole school with, you know, I sometimes, yes, that works, like with the special schools and everything, you know, it does, but also teach a child that, you know, there are no excuses or reasons why you can't do anything. They're not our barriers, they are our obstacles, you know. We don't let them be boundaries. We overcome them. They're only obstacles. And that can be really empowering for a child when I show them their data. I show them their I do most of my tests in like a formative summative assessment, so they kind of have a mock test or mock assessment, and then they have the real one, and I show them how they've improved from, you know, A to B, and you can see they're really proud of themselves, and they should be. That's my approach to teaching, really. I feel like just really a humanistic approach, I'd say.
It's very good. I feel like you're very real with your students. It sounds like you are.
Very real, like and that's the thing, like a lot of people often say, like, you've got a really soft voice. I don't really raise my voice. I haven't raised my voice yet. I don't yell at students. To me, if a student's raising their voice, it's almost like I get quieter. I just go, will you just take a deep breath and calm down? Like, I'm really blunt. And
because then you control the conversation. If you set the tone, you've controlled the conversation.
Yes, and that's the thing. You can't let students take control of a situation. Because after all, they are children. That is your job. And I can't lose control because these kids are in my care. You know, that would be that I don't feel comfortable, you know, losing control. I haven't yet. I'm pretty patient as a person, but people often they often go like, "Are you sure you want to be a high school teacher? Like, it'll break you, or it'll, you know." But I think that's what true strength is being strong enough to be kind, you know, at all times.
Just give me a second. And we're back. Sorry about that. Had to close the door because my parents had entered the room. So where were we with the conversation? We were talking about something interesting.
I think we were talking about, like, are you sure teaching's for you?
And we're talking about
teaching styles.
We're talking about your methods, setting the tone, how you don't raise your voice, and how you're a pretty patient person. And I think that's where we left it off, really, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. So where I was going with that was, even though that all those things, and it sounds like a real, like, patient, and, you know, I'm still strong. I'm still very strict, and I don't allow the students to leave without having... I say, you know, you've got to do this much today, and you show me your work before you leave, and I don't mind sitting in class with you eating recess and lunch. You know. And the students that can't do that work, I don't set them up to fail. I'll quietly go to them and say, you know, if we're doing 10 questions, you can do 3, you can do 6, you can. What do you think you can do? Okay, let's aim for that. But they still have an expectation placed on them before they leave that classroom, and that's my philosophy, is that, you know what, it's John Hattie, really. He says, like, the high expectations achieves high results. I'm a true believer in that. A lot of people that and a lot of students that, you know, blood classes, they've never had a real high expectation placed upon them. I say, you're very capable of doing this, and I expect it. And I won't accept any less than that, than your full potential.
Were you that kind of student?
Yeah, but I put it on myself.
Yeah, so you had more of intrinsic pressure on yourself more than having somebody else
I
come to
feel like my parents put it on me, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Because but I felt it as a kid. I felt like I would really disappoint them,
Yeah.
I was just that kid that got straight A's and would be disappointed if I didn't,
Yeah.
And my parents knew I can never ever remember a time when my parents were like, have you done your homework? I just did it. Like, I can never really, they're not strict parents.
Yeah.
But for some reason,
you just did it.
I just did it, and I felt like they'd be really disappointed in me if I didn't. So I felt that pressure from them.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't, and throughout my whole schooling, even year 11, 12, which is like you're 18 years old, even sometimes at uni, if I got a really good grade, I'd tell Dad about it. I'd get would go out to dinner and celebrate, or Dad would always bring back something small, like a block of chocolate if you'd gone to the supermarket, or just to like reward you almost. And so definitely my parents, my mum was a nurse, and now she works for my dad, and my dad's a scientist. So definitely education's valued. But my brother and sister, my sister's like an average student, and she does pretty well in the subjects that she likes as well. But pretty average. She wasn't a nerd like I was, and my brother was quite a low student, and he actually left year 11 and got a full-time job working, and that was fine with my parents because school wasn't for him. So no, they were never like you have to get straight A's, but I felt like I had to, because I guess when you do, you're either gonna keep it up
or not,
or you're just gonna you just feel like you're not improving, or that you're...
Yeah, and clearly that's from some form of intrinsic pressure, I feel, more than like expectations from yourself, from something that may or may not exist from your parents.
Don't know, like I just think I was, especially in school, like now that I'm older, I'm actually putting a lot of pressure on myself to not be this way. But when I was at school, I would always have my makeup done and my hair done. I was a perfectionist. I'd have my locker was always neat. As I get older now, I'm just like, I can see myself getting into that habit of needing to feel like you're your best self. And yes, it's important, but when it comes down to things like making sure you've got a full face of makeup on, I make sure now that I'm comfortable leaving the house with only concealer or with no makeup at all, So that's lessening, but definitely at that age, I was known as a perfectionist. And I think when you have like that personality that people know you for being something, you have like a pressure to live up to it. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
Like if you're the class clown, you have to keep being the class clown. What if you don't want to be anymore? I don't know.
That's interesting. You're quite the opposite from me, man.
Really?
I at school, when I was in school, I just, because I didn't like the environment.
Yeah.
I just didn't try. Like I knew in myself that I could get good grades. Just didn't try. The only subject I really got good grades in was science. That's because I found it interesting. Like learning about physics and learning about chemistry, like just random aspects of that.
And that's so interesting because you're such a high, like at university, Matt is probably, I would say, one of the highest students. Like, if not probably, I don't know. I don't know the history of all students, but you're very, very high achieving. Yeah. And definitely a name that every nursing student gets to know very quickly. Ask Matt. Yeah. And you're only second year, you're not even third year yet. But even third year students are like, maybe Matt could help me with this,
Yeah. So, that's, I don't know, well, the only reason I had a shift was because of past trauma. In a sense, not really trauma, just past experience with with things, and actually having to dig deep and having to just go, oh hey, fuck it, let's just go for it. And now I'm doing that now. I'm not going to stop till I'm gone. So you got to make sure I become the best until I'm finished.
Yeah, because you're such a not even just with your studies, with your health and fitness, the podcast, like such a driven person. Yeah. That Thank you. Cannot ever imagine you being any other way. You know, sometimes when we find ourselves and we finally come to that realization, we go through experiences, and you've obviously gone through experiences and learnt from them. Yeah. And that's, all power to you. So
I've come a long way from being a long-haired, bearded dude, and now I'm clean-shaven.
Yeah.
And,
I can see that.
Yeah. Like, I'm a lot different now. I've had to change myself quite a bit. I understand that, and I just find that so interesting, because everyone I talk to that was in uni actually kind of liked school, like, to a certain degree, and I feel like I'm the only one that really hated the environment. It feels so weird. I haven't found anyone that really, like, they miss going back to school because it's different from adulthood, and, like, you know, they like their life set up in, like, those day-to-day lives. Like, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
I think so. You know what, though? When I was in year 10 and year 11 and 12, year 11 and year 10 were definitely my worst years.
Yeah.
Year 11, I was very close to failing a few classes. That were maths.
Yeah.
But I really lost motivation, and in year 10, I really went through a depression.
Yeah.
My grandmother had died. New Zealand had gone through earthquakes when I was in year 10. I'm from Christchurch, New Zealand. Originally moved to Australia when I was 3. I just got really depressed, and I thought I hated school, but I didn't. I really got on with my teachers. Year 7 to year 10, you know, loved them. Got on. We had our jokes. I often would have huge conversations with teachers and feel like they were, like, in some form my friend. If I seen them out having coffee, would stop and have a chat still, you know. I wasn't awkward around teachers and these teachers that obviously cared about me and that we got on very well. I started to wag, or my wagging was just not going to school that day. Yeah. And I never was a person who never went to school. So if I said I'm staying home, my parents would be like, she obviously needs a break, you know. Yeah. My mum said sometimes you would be working on assignment and you wouldn't get to sleep. You'd go to school, you'd spend the whole day, and the next day you were so tired you didn't wake up by your alarm. I let you sleep. Yeah. And I went off to work thinking you just stay at home. You went to school by yourself late. Yeah. You know? So they never had that worry that I was a wagger. Like they knew who I was. But even mum said, like, Yaz, what's wrong? I was just in bed all the time, like, really depressed. Yeah. And I say to my students now, you know, especially my year 10s, you know, when I was in year 10, I wasted so much time being unhappy. Yeah. And it was a waste of time. Because when I really look back, I didn't hate school. Yeah. When I actually got out of bed and I walked to school, that little walk did me good. Yeah. You know, I had a little cry in the morning. Yeah. And I washed my face and I had that little walk. And then I'd go to school. And as soon as I was around my friends, I was actually fine. Yeah. But I got into this state of mind where when teachers started to nag me and, like, email me on my school email that we could access from home, they'd email me my work knowing I would be the student to do it. Yeah. I would find them so nagging and I'd call them bitches, and they weren't, and I knew they weren't. Yeah. And so when I hear other students doing that to teachers, I'm like, you know, it's because they know you can do better, or they just want the best. And, you know, and you see it in their face, they know deep down, you know. But it's really funny. I feel like I have had a short, like, for a year and a half, so half a year 10 and year 11, I did have that experience of hating school. Yeah. And it was just an interesting time in my life because it was so different, and I felt so different. And when I look back, I don't even recognize that person. Yeah. Like, it's so not me.
You've grown.
Yeah. But do you have that moment in your life where you look back at an experience and you're like, I can't believe I went through that? Yeah. I basically, every time I look back at who I was, that person's dead now. Yeah. I'm not that person anymore. Yeah. It's very interesting. It's weird because, like, you were somebody who had totally different behaviours, and now all of a sudden something clicked, and now you're just this whole different person. You've learned everything, and not everything. You learned from those mistakes that you've made, and now you've changed that behaviour accordingly, and now you're a new person. Yeah. And that happens every day in our life, but, like, just massive experiences like that. Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah. And we've had this conversation.
Yeah, we've had this, but it's perfect to express this though. Like,
No, it's growth is such an interesting thing, and that's what really keeps you going as a teacher. Luckily, while I was studying, I was I had jobs in schools and everything, so I did get to know students, and I have had that experience of seeing growth, and it's such a rewarding experience being part of that.
Yeah.
And that keeps you ticking. That makes it all worth it.
Good. I'm happy that you're really passionate about it, because like I like it that you've chosen a career that you have passion, because that'll just make you want to keep on improving and make you want to deliver the best education you can to your students. And I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I've always said, if I burn out, if I come to a time, I see it in teachers, I'm sure they had the passion once.
Yeah.
They very obviously don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
I will change career.
Yeah.
I won't keep going.
Yeah. What else do you think you'd be if you after teaching? Do you reckon you have any idea what's next?
Well, I'm in Headspace.
Yeah.
And I volunteer there on the youth space, and I get quite involved, and I see it was always a toss up between social work and teaching, but the nerdiness kept me with teaching.
Yeah.
Social work, it went against my nature almost, because sometimes I found you had to be really clinical.
Yeah, and you don't like
in my sociology classes that I had with a lot of the social work students. I'm not able to really separate my emotions sometimes. They are what fuel me.
Yeah.
I cannot listen to certain things and go home and switch it off and go to sleep at night and stop worrying. So social work, I would have had that passion, but it would have burnt me out too fast. So teaching, I don't know, it's a good mix, and I've got really tough students, but I feel like so far with my classes that I have now, I met those students on my final placement, and after placement I kept going into the school and to see how they were going just as a volunteer.
Yeah.
And I can really see the growth. One of the things I did with them was it was like meditation basically.
Yeah.
5 minutes before class, and this one student who is so unable to sit still, just unable to, really traumatic background. I will often see him leave the classroom. He leaves the door open and he sits in the hall, like right outside the door. I can see him, and he crosses his legs, closes his eyes, and he's meditating, and he now has a skill that he can use, and that's what the happy ending is. At least now they've got that skill. So that's why I say yes, it's curriculum, but it's also the life skills, and it's not just the skill as like IT literacy or it's skills of how do I control my emotions, how do I work in a group with people that I don't like or that annoy me or who have different beliefs and values to me. These are things. And you know what, like sitting down and doing a worksheet in school, when did that ever actually help us in life?
Not much.
Because I can't really think of one example.
No. That's really good. I really like, as I said earlier, like you're really critically thinking about this, like it's perfect. I think it's great. I just if I was in school and if you were my teacher, I'd be very happy, because you'd be pushing it like me to do better. I would sincerely be very happy. That's why I wanted you to come on here, because I think that you're right for the job at the moment. At this moment in time, you're right for this job. This career is you.
That was really funny, because when I began to do my masters, I spoke to a lady and she was at Headspace, and she's like, Yaz, you are exactly where you need to be. Like kids, they need you. You will be better use as a teacher than you are as a counsellor or as a, and she was really right. And it's such a good feeling sometimes when you find what you want to do and where you feel like, you're doing well. Like I'm really proud of the work I've done with the students. I'm really proud of them as well. And it's just a good feeling when you felt like you found your niche in life, where you're meant to be. So
you found that rhythm.
Yeah, I'm happy in life right now. So,
you're getting rewarded out of the effort you put in, and you're feeling good about that, and you're feeling good about how the results are coming with that, and how you feel about solving those problems. Yeah. There's probably a way of articulating it. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just speaking off the cuff.
It's so hard to sometimes it's really hard to speak positively about yourself.
Yeah, it is difficult.
Say you're proud of yourself, but if I want my students to and my friends to, you kind of have to live by the words you speak. So.
Yeah, you have to become a role model, and of course it's difficult to speak positive about yourself because in our society and in our culture it's kind of awkward, like it's kind of frowned upon because like you're a bit of a wanker, like it's like I'm very good at doing blah 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 blah. Then like no one will, like in a social group no one will really like you. But then all of a sudden, like to get a job you have to sell yourself as well.
Yeah, and it's so awkward that job interview.
Yes.
I was very nervous.
Yeah.
But I was so nervous for that job interview, and when they ask you anything else you'd like to say, anything else that you've done, I'm like, well, I did this, I did that, and you know, and you kind of feel like you're just listing, like, do they just think, oh, what a stuck up snob, you know? It's
then all the insecurities come out. It's so weird. We're weird creatures. Like at one point, like 2 seconds ago, I was saying like we're expected to not brag about ourselves, and all of a sudden, in certain situations, we're meant to brag about ourselves, and then it's okay.
Well, because the principal said to me, "Anything else you want to add?" And I'll add a few things. He goes, "Now this is your chance to really sell yourself," and he's really trying to get it out of me.
Yeah,
you know?
It's so weird. It's so
You know, so he wanted something, but I hope I gave it to him.
I hope this go with a mic drop.
Well, he gave me the job, so I must have said something.
Something right.
I know that he spoke to our head of campus about me.
Yeah.
She told me. So I knew he had a background about me, and I was really wondering what exactly was it that I had done at uni that I felt like he was really trying to extract something.
Yeah.
That he already knew.
Yeah.
But he just wanted me to say it.
Yeah.
Or maybe he wanted the other people in the room to hear it as well.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I'm not sure, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a weird and unnatural thing to do.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
And, you know, I've got like my parents are not from Australia, you know, and even in their like I know like the Middle East culture, an Asian culture, like, you know, they really do expect you to do well, but I feel like people just inherently in all cultures feel awkward talking
themselves up.
Themselves up. So
because like just put your nose to the ground and get working and don't talk about yourself. It's very I don't know where I'm going to go with that. That's a new thought for me now. I'm going to be thinking about that for a while.
Well, that's one thing we've not ever spoken about.
No, it is weird. It's just odd. But it has to do with the socializing through history. Like of course it would have to be, because like how's it a bad thing to talk yourself up unless it's frowned upon in a group? Because like we're clearly social creatures.
Maybe because like in history, the people that did like you know, when they used like a king and a queen, they'd read their whole title out and all their big achievements, you know. But probably majority of the people were poor, and probably all the poor people fucking hated them. So,
no, true.
You know, maybe it came from that. I don't know.
Maybe, or maybe even further back as well to caveman times.
Maybe.
Who knows? Mr. Uga Uga, who hunt buffalo very well, got killed by the group because they were very jealous of all the food he had.
Yeah.
You know?
It's really funny though, because one thing I did learn reading Clan of the Cape Bear was that we've always had some form of like currency.
Yeah.
Or like
something of worth.
To barter or to swap things, you know. So yeah, in a way, even in caveman days, there still were like the poor and the middle and the upper class.
Yeah, because like we all have our skills, and of course there's a variety of people with different abilities, and different abilities are more valued in certain situations. Like in the time of the caveman, being fast, strong, and a good hunter, that would be probably very desirable. Somebody who knows what berries are poisons, what are not very desirable, and that's what would make you more valued in the tribe and probably kept around a lot longer. And like if you're cannibalistic, I guess as well, if you had that, you'd probably be the last one eaten.
And I wonder if that's why we put so much emphasis now on like sports.
Yeah.
Like who's that guy, and he's in America now playing basketball, and like 250 million he'll get over 5 years or something. I'm thinking that crazy that this is what we give athletes.
Yeah, well, it's because like
rub a ball. No
kidding. It's because over the years that like, you know, it's become a business, and that business is making billions, and like just throwing a little bit of cash over there means nothing to them. And I think we also value those sports because of the hunter aspect of it. You know, they're war games. They're war games.
Yeah.
They're preparing you for combat. Like if you're like back in the day, like if we were in tribes, we'd play those games to get our reflexes ready, to be able to make sure we know how to move, and being competitive, knowing how to strategize and win games. That means you can win wars. Means you can win more food for the tribe, and so that's why we value it so much. I feel.
Yeah, I feel like that too, because like even when I was in school, and I see it in students now too, like the popular ones, the sporty ones, and I think it's something that people gravitate to because they feel like they'll be
more valued.
That's their best
asset
of like for survival.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like I'm very competitive. Like if I want to compete in something, I will go to the grave trying to win. So like, do you feel the same way or no?
I'm very competitive.
Yeah, see, it's ingrained in us somewhere.
But I wouldn't say I'm a sore loser. Are you a sore loser?
Not really. I used to be when I was younger, but
I used to be too.
I've grown out of it.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
Yeah, if you've won with like good skill, good on you. I'm very impressed. Like I'll smile at the end of that game. Like
Me too. I'll smile, shake your hand. There's no bad blood, but I will secretly be trying again and want to rematch.
Yeah, it's
not a rematch, but like I love that opportunity.
Yeah, to play again and try to beat the community. Yeah, it's like when I was playing chess with Brody. Like he's very good at chess, and I respect that a lot. But I want to beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking of different ways on how I could, but like he's got a lot more experience than I do, so he's a lot better at chess than I am. So those are very interesting aspects. Where else could we go with that? We got so many angles, man. What are your thoughts of the Australian education system?
I don't like it.
You don't like it? Why is that?
I think it sets majority of students up to fail. I think it's look, if you come from a good home and if you're struggling, your parents can afford tutoring. You're fine. If you're someone who naturally likes to study. You're fine. If you're a kid who knows what they want to be when they grow up, you'll be fine. But majority of kids don't. Yeah. And that's very natural and normal. I don't really like exams. Yeah. I don't like assessments even at university that are 50 and 60%. Yeah. I think
we'll come back to that.
Yeah. I think that I think it needs to be more equitable. Yeah. It needs to cater to all types of learners. It's getting there. Yeah. But yeah, I really go in thinking, maybe one day I'll work for the Department of Education.
Yeah, something like that.
Like sometimes I think about that. Like
do it. If you feel like you can, I reckon you could.
If I could do a PhD and really prove something, I could. I think about that sometimes. Yeah. The education system, it's changed, yes. I wouldn't say it's changed enough. Yeah. Our world's changing constantly, and I feel like we haven't changed with the world.
We haven't adapted yet.
Yes. Yeah. There are a lot of kids that go to school and feel stupid. Yeah. And they should not feel that way. Yeah.
Yeah, they should be they should try to find their own value at school. They shouldn't be.
I say to the kids, if you don't understand what's going on, you don't understand the task, that's my problem. Yeah. I've not explained it right. Yeah. I've not given it to you in a way, I've not delivered it in a way that you can understand. Yeah. That's my fault, my problem, but you need to let me know. Yeah,
because that's your job as an educator to make sure these people are educated.
Yes.
So you want to go back to the percentage stuff? I absolutely hate the way they grade us at the uni. Because I feel like also with certain topics, if you're talking about topics in regard that are really subjective and opinion based, do not grade students on that, because that doesn't mean shit when they're out in the workforce. Yeah. If you're gonna grade somebody on something in a high percentage that is clearly subjective and there's no objective truth about how they will perform, then why are you grading them? Because all you're doing is just testing their ability to agree with you. Yeah. And that's not why we're there at uni.
Well, with the whole percentage thing, I don't agree with having a research project or something with 60%, and that if you fail that, or not even if you fail that, if you get that can really influence your whole entire grade and if you pass the class or not. Yeah. But I do agree with hurdle tasks. Yes. But I don't think they should really be graded. I think if you're a nursing student, you should definitely be able to show you can do certain things.
Of course.
And get a pass or fail for that. The same with social, teaching and the Bachelor of Arts, it's a bit hard. Yeah. But even with teaching, I think it should have been, we should have had to record ourselves teaching or mock teaching.
Yeah.
And show our teachers, because our teachers have never seen us in placement. And yeah, I don't agree with that either.
Yeah.
I think
there needs to be something objective. Like
yes, it needs to be something like a pass or fail sort of thing. Like, you know, because there are a lot of teachers that do fall through the cracks.
Yeah, there are. Like, same with nursing. I've noticed, like, I have no idea why they're there.
You know what? A lot of nursing students,
Yeah.
I'm just like, why? You obviously don't like people.
Yeah.
You don't like working with people.
Then why are you there?
Yeah.
Like, and you know, and you're not even putting the effort in at all to actually improve in any aspect of the medical field.
Yeah.
So, like, why are you there? Why do you want to be a nurse if you don't like people and you don't like medicine and blood? Like, you know.
Yes.
It's weird. It's like we talked a little bit of that yesterday.
I just said that yesterday. It's like, I can't remember what I said. I think it was about social work.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of, at our uni, there are a lot of students that shouldn't be in social work.
Yeah.
They really lack empathy.
It's weird. It's very odd because, like, I think they just grab at it. Like, because, like, we're all, I think it might actually come down to what are you going to be, what are you going to be, and what are you going to be.
And do you know what?
Yeah.
They are the students that can score really high on certain tasks, like certain essays, because they're so emotionally detached from certain things that they can just answer a straight question.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing with, like, nursing, teaching, social work, when you know, knowledge, very important but not enough.
Yeah.
Empathy, very important but not enough.
Yeah.
Being able to work in a team, very important but not enough. And it's like, how do you get this sort of person that can do all of it, you know? It's like a real mix that you sort of need. And
it's odd.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, also, when you're telling me that, like, they get they're really good at essays and they get, like, high scores, I was thinking, like, that reminds me, there's so many university students who are good at getting grades, but they're just so retarded. Like that, like.
Well, you look at some doctors in the world and their social skills and their common sense almost.
Yes, that's what I mean, common sense. Right?
You know. Yeah. Lacking, but obviously very, very academic. Yeah. And I can say this because my dad's a scientist.
Yeah.
And you know, he's a doctor. He's a really good science. You know.
What does he do? What's the science?
Agriculture and horticulture,
awesome.
And he
my friend Sean will love him.
He's watching a lot of different things. Like he's been approached by the UN and you know, and like refertilizing soils and
awesome.
Creating plants that don't need a lot of water, but you know,
that gets me excited.
Like, you know, he's a real, like, and he you'd love him. He loves learning and everything, you know. But sometimes that common sense he lacks, and his friends, who are scientists, you know, they come over and they're so smart and amazing, and then sometimes you think, it's a push, not a pull door, like, you know, it's that kind of moment.
Yeah, they like they touch hot water and don't know why it's hot for a second. Like,
it really reminds me of, like, this episode of The Big Bang Theory where they're all in this freezer trying to do these activities, and it's to prepare them going to Antarctica. Like, we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to build this thing or whatever. In the freezing cold, and then Leonard goes, "Wouldn't we just do it inside and then take it out?" And he goes, "I didn't think of that." It's like they're so used to overthinking everything that you know.
It's interesting. That's pretty. But I guess that's why we need the variety of thought out there, I reckon. Yeah, for sure. You got me excited about science now. I'm just thinking about how you'd go about making a plant that needs less water. I don't know much about it.
It's like in the rootstocks. Like, you know. And he's really good at data. Yeah. That's his real niche, I think. Yeah. Like data analysis and data.
Any aspects of science you like?
Of genetics, I loved. When I was in year 9, I did a genetics class. I was really funny because my top classes were art, English and literature. I loved philosophy. I loved science. I was really, really bad at maths.
You were the thinker, but you weren't the mathematician.
No, I did not have that math skill, and I almost think I'm like that dyslexia. I've got that dyslexia that can't do math.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't just bad. Like I was below average.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it would take me a lot of study.
Yeah.
And I was just significantly bad at maths. And yeah, I loved science though.
Yeah.
I was actually really good at science.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because my art teacher really could, he really could relate to me. We talk about it a lot because he's an art teacher and a science teacher.
Yeah.
But he hates maths.
Yeah.
And he hates English.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, it's so funny. And I don't know if it's because of my dad or whatever, or if it's because everything links up together, like the whole history, because there's a bit of like history and genetics almost.
Yeah.
But anyway, and I remember doing a genetics class, and I decided I wanted children like me who were like tan and brunette but with blue eyes.
Yeah.
So my mum's like blue eyed, and my very pale, like my dad's very tan and Middle Eastern, and brown eyed, brown hair, and I've got brown eyes, brown hair, and I found out if I marry someone who comes from two sets of parents who like both parents are blue-eyed and both their parents are blue-eyed, I'd be most likely to have a blue-eyed child, and that was my goal.
Yeah.
And that was a prereq.
That's interesting.
For like a month, but I got obviously over it because I fell in love with someone with brown eyes. But yeah, it's I don't know, that wasn't my motivation, but like I remember doing this genetics class and being like, so I remember asking the teacher, so how would I get a blue-eyed kid?
That's very weird, man. It's interesting. It's interesting. No, good. I love asking questions about people who like science. It's very interesting.
We also did a class called Fight or Flight, and part of that class was we got given these little ducklings, and they'd be taken from their mum, and made them believe that we were its mum, and then we had to basically leave them and see how they reacted. Yeah. They don't do it anymore. Very unethical.
Very, that'll come in a discussion later, another podcast. We're going to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But still found it very interesting class. Like, whether we fight or flight. Yeah. And these sorts of things, like with the thesis I had to write in the end, I did a lot of fight or flight things. Yeah. I did a lot of research, and science comes up all the time, but definitely I was more of a social science. Yeah. Not physics or any chemistry.
Cool. That's very cool. Well, I'm like at the moment, for me, I'm actually trying to reteach myself mathematics, and I find I love it when it's not in the classroom. I absolutely love math when I'm not taught it. When no one's telling me how to do it, I love it, and I'm picking it up pretty well because I've just fallen in love with it because I've learnt that, because my desire while I'm alive is that I want to understand why I'm here and why this universe works and how it works. And mathematics is that language that I need to learn. So like, even if it's hard, I'm going to grind for it. But I find it a lot more fascinating if I apply it in that thought. That it's a language I'm learning. Of course, it's going to be hard. It's like learning Chinese or something like that.
I mean, maths is really good if you want to find a definitive answer. If you really want to know why you're here, I don't think. I guess I've got a different view on that. Yeah, because you've got
that social aspect. You've got I'm just going to assume that like for meaning it has to be like some form of purpose for you. Would it? Is that how you perceive it? Like you have to find your own inner purpose in order to accept your existence.
I just inherently believe everybody does have a purpose, and that everyone's life is a journey to find it and then eventually fulfill it. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. It's really funny because humans are so self-righteous. There's no other animal there that's like, do I really need to know exactly why ants exist or exactly why dolphins exist? So why do we really care why we've ever come about? We know we are, and we're here, and what are we going to do about it? Yeah.
Well, we have to do that in order to survive and for our species to reproduce. We have to put some sort of value on ourselves. Yeah. And of course, like making sure that we perceive ourselves as something special is going to ensure that happens. It's going to ensure that I'm going to go hunt to get food, make sure I live.
Yeah. But some people, they need to know like that definitive, some people seek like that definitive answer of like, why are we here? Yeah. And I worry about you doing that because I feel like, will you ever get there?
I don't care if I don't, at the moment,
Okay.
I don't care if I don't get there. I just want to be able to make the steps towards understanding what is this. Because, like, right now, what I'm perceiving is an existence, and I'm perceiving consciousness that may or may not be real.
Yeah.
And, like, what parts do I have to break down in order to understand that? And how far, like, and this can be endless. And this gives me a purpose. Understanding what this is gives me a purpose. Because if I didn't have this, I would not be enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. Because, like, I don't think, for me, life is not worth living unless you actually understand what this is. Like, it's hard because I don't want to live a life blind, just working away in an office. I want to make sure that, like, I'm working towards a goal that is meaningful to me and meaningful to the people around me.
Yeah.
Because if I'm hoping that one day, if I keep pushing forward, I can actually find an answer to my questions, and then I can share them with others.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping, and I will not stop until I find it. At the moment, at this moment in time, my mind said I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I guess where I got confused a bit there was
I'm trying to find the words. It's hard.
Yeah, it's almost like you're. Well, when you said that, like, it's a mathematical language.
Yeah.
So it's not really people's individual purpose. Is it like the purpose of mankind, or
of just this, of the universe,
the whole? Yeah. Okay.
Of, like, just like how
life on planet Earth.
On planet Earth. What, like, the aspect to how things are created over billions of years, and all those. I'm trying to find the words for it. Essentially,
it's like the whole Big Bang, like. Yeah.
I guess in a sense, I am trying to find my own God through science.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm I'm agnostic in the sense of believing in a deity, because I think it's foolish to believe in the definite when not. Because, like, I haven't died yet. I don't know the experience. I haven't even, I haven't experienced that. So, like, at this moment in time, I'm just trying to find what. Like, I want to find more to what this is. I know there's more to this. There's got to, like, there might be multiple universes. What do they look like? Can we travel to other planets soon? How are we going to do that? Do we fold the aspects of space and time to reach that side of the planet, of the universe, in order to get closer, instead of traveling through a rocket, which will take hundreds of years and generations to get to a different spot? And, like, understanding how small we are in comparison to this gigantic emptiness that is the universe, that is forever expanding, and the disorder of it, and how does that work? And I want to know that, and I'm trying to teach myself that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know, because I'm finding it really hard to find the words for it.
It does. It really does make sense, and it's almost like we've got, because you and I really get along.
Yeah.
And we have big, huge discussions.
Yeah.
And it's almost like we've got, like, opposing perspectives of looking at things.
Yeah.
But we're both very driven.
Yeah.
And, we're both the same but different. And I find it so interesting. Sorry, because I get so quiet because I really listen to you when you speak.
That's all right.
I find your perspective so different to mine. So I, really listen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just interesting.
Yeah, I hope it makes sense what I'm saying. Like, I'm really, like, maybe over time in conversation I'll find a proper way of articulating it. Or
maybe you're not real. Like, maybe you know what you need. You know the tools you need. Like, with the maths and everything.
Yeah.
And you know sort of where you're going, but because, and maybe this is with it finding a definitive answer, because you don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
You don't exactly know what you're searching. You know what you're searching for without knowing exactly. I feel like you know how to get there.
Yeah.
But without knowing what you're searching for.
Exactly, because there's no, like, because I don't know the answer to the question.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find an answer to a question.
You don't even know if there will be one.
Yeah, and that's, and I reckon that's worth the ride. I reckon it's going to be a fun ride. I can't wait till I'm 80 years old and I'm sitting there at a chalkboard trying to figure out. Yeah.
If I were you, I would really start. Podcasts are great because you can listen to them back.
Yeah.
Recording your thoughts. Speaking to camera, like, just voice memos. But really filing it. So
yeah.
I'm a writer.
Do like a daily journal sort of thing. Yeah.
So I love to write, and then I'm constantly ripping out pages and rewriting things into one book, and then so I can have it all in one place. Yeah. Because when you are 80, like, how interesting would it be?
I'd love to do that, like, every like week or something, have like a weekly journal, and then if I do it in like videos and like have it on a hard drive, then like have it over the years having Matt week 700 and bloody blah blah blah. This is I feel like I'm nearly on my final edge. I might be onto something, and I might have contributed something by then. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know my potential. I'm really trying to seek that as well as doing this.
I mean, speaking of being 80, my grandfather just turned 80 last year, so he's 81 this year. 80 or 70? 80, I think 80. I'm not sure, 100%. But he lives in New Zealand, and I'm going to go back to New Zealand for Christmas, and I'm actually going to record him.
Yeah.
And have all of us cousins ask him some questions and record like a huge Q&A, and because he won't be around too much longer, or no one's around forever, but I'd really like to have like that documentation.
That's valuable. That is very valuable. I think that's good. You seem like a very family orientated person, clearly. Yes, I love that. I absolutely respect that. I feel like respecting your family is probably the most important thing.
I people hear it all the time, like the way I speak about my parents. I really respect them. Like, I get really offended if my brother or sister are like mean to mum and dad, and I go in, and because I'm the oldest, I go in and I talk to them, and you can't say that, or you should apologize. Like, you should apologize. I'm really close with my mum. And my dad and brother and sister. Like, I've got a very individual relationship with everyone in my family. But I think it comes from, I know exactly where it comes from. Is my dad's Muslim, my mum's Christian, and they married and had children, and they had a number of ceremonies when they got married. To acknowledge different religions, and to and we've always celebrated everything, Eid and Ramadan and Christmas and Easter, and we've gone to mosques, we've gone to churches, and we've been encouraged to I know where that comes from, because mum and dad's family, I feel, probably not the happiest with that arrangement and that marriage. And then eventually we moved to Australia. Dad got a job here, which was part of it, but also part of where I was from in New Zealand. And they've got a lot of Asians there now, but still not very multicultural. And at the time it wasn't very multicultural. They knew of Mildura being very multicultural. And we're very multicultural, small little town here. And I think it comes from that. I think it comes from when your parents move away to a different country, they've got no other family around. You do become very family oriented. So
and all those experiences and all that history and all that belief has made you a teacher after years of being a uni student, and now
I'm just a teacher.
Now you're just a teacher after experiencing all those things and having all those perspectives, and then you're just combining them all into your discipline.
I guess.
That's very good.
And with all of you as a nurse.
Awesome, absolutely awesome. Do you want to leave it here and we'll sign off, you reckon, or you want to keep going?
Well, I'm happy to. It's up to you. You can sign off.
Let's sign off. Because I got a little. Someone wants to come in. Alrighty. This has been Conversation with a Friend. This has been Yasmin. Thank you very much. Do you have anything you want to put in? Anything you want to say, or anything like that, or?
No, thank you.
No worries. Thank you very much for coming on. I hope you actually enjoyed it.
I have.
Yeah, good. Alrighty. I'll see you guys later. If I have any information on Yaz and stuff, I'll put it down in the description down below. If you'd like to support my content, I've recently made a PayPal donation button so I can actually hopefully get donations and afford proper equipment. If you can please support me, that'd be much appreciated. And thank you very much for listening. This has been Matty G111. Thank you so much.